Halo Combat Evolved is the game that sparked a beloved Microsoft franchise and put the original Xbox on the map. It reimagined the first-person shooter FPS genre for consoles and popularized many of its controls and functions that such games would use for decades afterward. Halo received an enhanced remake in 2011 for the Xbox 360, Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, that featured updated graphics and a toggle function that lets you swap between classic and remastered visual styles. Now, the Anniversary Edition gets updated with 4K graphics, ultra-wide monitor support, and other features you would expect from a contemporary PC. It's an outstanding remastering edition. Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary can be enjoyed as part of the Halo Master Chief Collection for $40 or $9.99 for its own. It's also one of the games available in Microsoft Game Pass. Combat Evolved. After a bombastic opening that sees your spaceship crash land on an alien ringed world, you, as Master Chief, must fight for Covenant forces to rescue fellow Marines, while also piecing together the mystery behind the world's existence. Halo has a relatively limited enemy roster, so the combat becomes visually repetitive as you play through the campaign. Still, the shooter makes excellent use of pacing, challenge, and storytelling to keep the fight engaging for a surprisingly long time. In addition to the potent marine and alien weaponry you tote in the battle, Halo often doles out vehicles for you to pilot, which changes the fight dynamics. For example, the iconic Warhawk, an armoured, turret-mounted jeep, can be driven across a wide range of terrain, and even inside many structures. This gives you a huge advantage over the grounded Covenant grunts, especially if you get a fellow Marine to the turret. Throughout the story campaign, you come across various other Covenant and Marine vehicles, including speedy alien hoverbikes and beefy rocket-pumping tanks. Perhaps the subless, yet most satisfying way that Halo keeps fresh is through its storytelling scenarios. You move from escape sequences to marine rescue missions to unnerving survival horror levels, all the while battling hordes of dangerous enemies. The Covenant alien species, your primary Halo adversaries, only manifest as a few basic enemy types. That said, the game introduces tougher variants as you progress through the story. Few more surprise enemies join the battle during the game's later chapters, but even with their presence, the enemy variety is relatively sparse. Once you make it out of Halo's tutorial sequence, the brakes are off, and there's very little in the way of hand-holding. The Covenant is notably more aggressive once you crash on the titular Halo, and the difficulty only ramps up from there. The enemy forces are gripped with personality, so even the basic adversaries take cover, flee, or flank you if you let them. Grunts, for example, are aggressive cannon fodder who are prone to panicking and running around in disarray. Still, they can tear you to shreds, and they love hurling grenades right when you turn the tide against them. Elites mirror Master Chief's abilities, in that they can shield themselves from damage, use cover, and evade shots. They also perform mid-fight taunts to wound your ego. Covenant armament have a massive impact on how you approach alien forces. Basic plasma shooting enemies are dangerous, but their shots are straight and easy to evade. Anything armed with a needler, with a crystal shooting firearm with limited homing abilities, is decidedly more lethal and should be generally more a priority target. Elites can be armed with a plasma sword, which drops you instantly if their swings lands. Missions mix their enemies in pretty much every encounter, which radically affects how you approach each fight. The gameplay. Despite a few laggy hiccups at the very start of the game, publisher Xbox Game Studios delivers an excellent Halo experience. Like Halo Reach, Combat Evolved Anniversary can be enjoyed with keyboard and mouse, which just feels as natural as a controller. Likewise, it also has a wealth of Steam achievements to earn in the game, as well as those addictive trading cards that will collect and trade. Bugs. Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, like Halo Reach, has a few audio problems. The plasma pistol, for example, often produces a charging shot sound even when the gun isn't being charged. For contents, that sound should only play when the shoot button is held down to beef up the next shot, and not during normal shooting as I often encountered. A harsh, grating sound is another audio bug which I've encountered. I absolutely love being able to shift between the original Halo visuals and the updated graphics by pressing the tab key. The remastered graphics are much brighter than the classic visuals, as they feature new lighting and textures. However, the original game's feel is lost with the updated visuals, particularly the interiors, which look more sterile and generic. The crude alien edges and bizarre glyphs that made the original release distinctive is no more. Nonetheless, it's great that both versions are included. The game supports ultra-wide gaming monitors too. Pros: excellent FPS action, engaging narrative, great pacing and escalating difficulty, highly detailed game world and animations. Cons: optional classic visuals suffer from disappointing downgrades and bugs. Audio mixing is off. Odd audio glitches. Replaying Halo CE is getting me more hyped up for Halo Infinite, which I'm also skeptical about Halo Infinite, which I really want it to be a good game, but saying that, it is made by 343, so I'm not expecting the best, but I just really want it to be good. Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary is a fantastic first-person shooter, and we had so much fun replaying this. Besides the occasional audio and visual tweaks that popped up, Halo is a wonderfully polished game that feels just as engrossing and accessible today as it did back in the day. And the rating I'm going to give it specifically for the Halo Combat Evolved Remastered Edition, which I played on the Xbox One X, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 rubber chickens. Thanks for watching.